My name is Danielle, and I am ProjectArt Miami's director. Tonight, we welcome our student community from 9 cities across the nation to come together and learn a special technique from one of our teaching artists and meet other ProjectArt students your age nationwide. We also welcome our students who are watching us on our online platforms. Thanks for participating. Remember to send us a picture of your work after today's lesson to info@projectart.org or to your local program director. And finally, we welcome Miss Alex Knapik to today's Masterclass. She is our instructor who has prepared a wonderful lesson on botanical design and assemblage together for our students ages 13 to 18 years old. Miss Alex is joining us from Chicago, where she is an emerging arts administrator with over 6 years experience working in the arts sector. She's currently completing her MS studies from Northwestern University and has a passion for sustainability. Miss Alex, take it away.
Hi, I'm Alex, everybody. I'm an arts worker and artist from Chicago, as was mentioned. A lot of my work does surround plants, flora, and other botanical elements, and plants to me represent an important component of our world and have been depicted in art since the very beginning. It's a great way to really engage with the world around you and connect with nature and things around you. And that's going to be our theme for today. And I've found, and there is also recorded evidence, that having a theme and a prompt for creating can help inform your personal style and give you opportunities to practice technique and experiment with different forms and things like that. As long as you have a subject matter told for you, it just takes one thing off your plate. And I find just music and having a warm work environment really conducive to creating a workspace I'm happy with and I feel productive in. I just want something that'll make me feel happy and get me in a good mood to do art. So I hope that those of you who may want to create art at home or anything want to. So that's a great mind space to be in when you are going into art. So for the activity today, we're going to be learning about assemblage. And assemblage can be made in many different forms with many different materials. We're going to be trying to make a 2D or a 3D piece. So think about which type you want to make now. I would only recommend making one today and revisit the other on another occasion, just because of the time constraints we have for this class. So I'm going to be showing you both and then take notes of which aspects you like from each, and then you can revisit it later at home or with your class another day. I have this 2D piece here that I made with a magazine, some paper flowers, some real flowers. Here's the one up top that is hard to see. Some petals and some other botanical things. So in the background, we've got a Fittonia nerve plant, which it's one of my favorites. I've tried to keep 2, but unfortunately, they just need to be watered every day, and I'm not around every day, so they die. So I made this piece because I really like the leaves, and I thought it would be really fun to imagine what could be on top of them. Like this art form is really uniquely suited to exercise your imagination. So this isn't a flowering plant, but I was wondering what it would look like if flowers were to bloom out of it. So I have several different flowers here that I think look really nice with the leaves, and that is an example of creating your own plant from your imagination. Love exercising that. But I also wanted to show you a professional example. So I saw this in a magazine today and I thought of you guys and I just had to show you. This is from artist Eugenia Lonely, and you can see there's a 3D piece right here. It's like a 3D botanical sculpture that kind of comes down from the ceiling like a chandelier. And then, so this one's all 3D, and then you can see there are some really relief pieces here that include different types of paper and other elements she used to make it a very 3D but still 2D suitable. As you can see, it's framed piece. So I just wanted to show you what could be if you really find yourself gravitating towards this art style and this form. If you wanted to make something like that, you could get really, really creative and excel. So today we're going to be learning about the basics. We're going to start with organizing our materials. This is a super important part of not only assemblage, but also art in general. And due to the nature of having collected objects as the main materials for the piece, it's super important to have them laid out in front of you and have them organized, or else you're just going to lose your mind. So here is, this is a shoebox lid that I have. And these are all of my materials. So over here in the corner, I have got beads. I've got some pipe cleaners here, some string underneath the string right here, and this little paper scrap that's actually garbage. I've got safety pins that we could use to adhere things together later on. I've got some paper flowers that stand alone. So these ones don't have a stem. And then these are my stemmed flowers over here. And then these are just petals that are contained. And then right down here, we've got some more stemmed flowers that are a little bit smaller and I think would have gotten lost in this pile. So if you haven't already, take the time now to organize the materials that you have in a way that suits you. So it could be by color, shape, size, a mix of the few, or however you think best organizes your objects in a way that you think you'll use all of them and you can really see the potential of them. So we're going to be drawing and creating several plants and cutting them out. For those of you who do not have flower or leaf stems with you, let me show you a handful of paper flowers that we can make. So just so we can add those to our materials before we even get started with the piece. So I've got some construction paper here, some colored paper. If you don't have colored paper, feel free to color on some paper really quick. And then I would recommend stacking them because work smarter, not harder. If you cut out, like if you draw an outline on one and you cut out 3, then you get 3. So get out a writing utensil. I'm going to use a marker and draw some petals, however you want to. So I'm going to do some big ones. And then definitely vary in sizes. So I'm going to do some littler ones too, because we are going to be stacking them once we cut them out. Great. So as soon as you have, I would say, so we have 3 here. I would say make 6 at the minimum. So I'm going to go ahead and do this again. And then always organize them with the rest of your materials. So I'm going to put this over here in my shoebox. I have some other paper flowers right here. I'm going to go ahead and put them with them. We aren't going to do anything with them quite yet. We are just adding to our materials pile because the more the merrier. Once again, just like the first flower, you're going to want to get multiples of a color or of paper, layer them out on top of one another, and outline your petals. So I'll re-outline them. I'll cut those out later. Now I've got green and orange. You can do petals like this if you want to, but it's really important. The most important part of this exercise is to have this little stem right here. So these little pieces are going to be really integral to the build out of the actual petal. So you can make it like this and then do a little box. You're going to want to get a paper scrap from earlier. I'm just going to like rip it. I personally don't care if it's an ugly shape because no one's going to be seeing it, but I'm going to put this little square on the bottom. So I'm going to place it here. I'm going to take my petals still in stacks of 3 if I can manage it. And see the little stem, have those lined up. Do a quick cut right in the middle. Let me make sure that it's even. So there's 2 little flaps. And then take a glue. You could even use tape if you want, or hot glue if you want to. My adhesion of choice today is Mod Podge. I really like it. I can't tip it too much. It's very full, but it's both a blessing and a curse because it does dry so quickly. So I'm gonna take a small brush, get just the tip of it covered in Mod Podge, and unfortunately you can't work smarter, not harder here, but split the two, saturate one tab, one little flap in Mod Podge, and then fold over, and I'm just gonna pinch it so it dries. It does take a second to dry. That's why it is a blessing and a curse. But yeah, hold it while it dries, and then I could even take the brush right now and just kind of fold the petal so it just gets a little bit of that real texture like that. So once you have several petals that look like this, you take this bottom piece, you get a little bit of your adhesion. I'm going to take more Mod Podge and just saturate this piece. Put a petal on, pinch and hold. Put some more adhesive on, pinch and hold just so it dries. And then go ahead and keep doing that until you are going to get a flower that looks just like, it'll look like this. Once you keep doing that, you just go in a circle around so you can see like this one is on top of this one, alternating colors. And then if you want to, you can either like color a little circle right here just because I think that's ugly, or I have a cute little bead. So at this point, I would just get some adhesive, throw it right here, pinch my bead, and then there is a flower. And then you can go ahead and put that with the rest of the pieces. For those of you who do have tissue paper, let me go ahead and show you a tissue paper technique. I'm going to go ahead and fold it. And I'm going to try to just gently rip And then what you're going to want to do to make the flowers is take your square, kind of pinch it right in the middle, and then pull on it like to create different folds and to kind of bunch it up. And then hold the end that you just grabbed and pulled, twist where you originally pinched, and then kind of zhuzh it back out to get this texture that could either be a leaf or a flower. It can have fun colors. It could really help determine what this looks like. But you have a little flower there and a very baby little stem right here, which honestly kind of reminds me of a flower that I do have. I think this looks a lot like tissue paper, these little pink stems here. You can also see it in the example, like you could make flowers like that, but I think these don't look too far off in terms of texture. And then always add them to your little flower pile or a separate pile because these are of their own texture. However you want to do it, just make sure they're organized and out of your workspace, this little blank space that you should have for yourself. So for those of you who want to start with a two-dimensional piece, you can have a piece of paper to start, some drawing tools, and then if you want, I would recommend guiding your plants a little bit. So you could start by drawing like some stems, build it off of one another, have it keep coming out the center, or draw your own little backgrounds. Or you could even take out a piece of magazine paper like the nerve example that I showed you earlier. I pulled another piece that I think would be really fun. I think that this picture from a magazine, putting a plant right there would be really nice. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my marker and I'm just gonna draw where I want the plant to go with my markers, sort of similar to behind me. If you don't have this piece, you can just kind of do it on a white piece of paper. I have it there. We can always cover it up. We have so many materials, so much cover. If you don't like it, we can always cover it up. It just serves as a really good guide on how to like, or where you want things to go. So I think a plant growing out of this curb is just such a fun contrast to all of the concrete in the foreground of this photo here. I'm just gonna start laying stuff out and see what looks good. So I have this little pipe cleaner flower. So yeah, once you feel like you have a good general direction of how you want it to look, you could just try to remember it, but I'm gonna be honest with myself and take a picture of what it looks like just with everything placed on it, because I will forget. So see my picture here. Those of you who did make those paper flowers, go ahead and grab them. And I'm gonna put this one on the bottom because I ripped it a little bit right here. But I would just put them alternating, kind of like rotating where they are, just so there's a different position that looks good. Put your thumb in the middle of the plant. It could be either a leaf or a flower, it doesn't matter. And then kind of like cup it just to give it some fold lines right here, because that is what's gonna make it three-dimensional. So just like fold it a little bit. It doesn't matter if it gets a lot of fold lines because that's what makes it look real. And then again, you can either color a circle, but I have beads and I think if I just Mod Podged it right there, that would look pretty good. Maybe a bigger one. So at this point, you should have a layout that you're really happy with. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take everything off, or I'll start here. I'll start with these two. Get my adhesive, hot glue, Mod Podge, regular stick glue, tape. I'm gonna let this sit because a really fun thing about art is that it looks different when you come back to it after a second. It's been a lot of fun creating art with you guys, and I hope that you had a great time too.
We want to give a huge thanks to Miss Alex for today's project for our students ages 13 to 18 years old who joined us from different cities across the country tonight. Thanks to all the students and families who joined us today, as well as everyone who is watching this recording on our virtual platforms. Remember, please take a picture of your work and send it to info@projectart.org or to your local program director. We would love to see your work. Thank you.